Welcome to another Finche podcast.
You're watching another Pink Chip podcast or listening to if you're listening to the audio only. But we are here today. I have a new guest. Can you introduce yourselves?
Hey, my name is Celso Vargas. We're here in North County, San Diego. I got my kids here, the Joseph, Jamie, and Haciel, which are my crime partners out here with all the RC lowriding, uh, painting, candy flake, striping. Well, not striping patterns on them
Yeah.
because we haven't got into striping. So,
All right.
but we're doing all the patterns out there and laying down the flake. I had Jamie this week get down on some candy so she could get the feel of the shading. So
Uh huh.
we got Jamie right here, and that's Joseph. Say hi.
Hello.
And we got Haciel
Hello.
and my lovely wife.
Hello. Hi.
So,
Um. So one of the reasons why I asked you to come on the podcast, on Facebook, a matter of fact, I had seen the videos of you with the kids spraying the cars in a spray
yes,
booth like it was a real car, like doing that work. And part of this is, with the Red Cat, RC Lowrider, um, right now it's new, but it's really blowing up. I mean, you're taking it to a different level. When I see that, I'm like, that's exactly how we're going to inspire the next, automotive painters, the lowrider, culture, the artists and stuff like that. And that's really why I reached out to you, because I was just amazed at seeing that.
yeah, yeah. The kids are have been amazing, throughout my lowrider background.
Mhm.
I've been, trying to get my kids into the good side of the culture of. It's not just having a lowrider. It's getting into it and do your paint job or uh, a little bit of mechanics.
Mhm.
The little cars, it's the small cars is just like a big car. You got all the mechanical stuff inside. You got to open them up. Something could break, and I'm trying to get them into you know dig in more and more. And them as little kids, the more the easier for you it is um, to get your stuff together. And
Yeah,
it's pretty nice to see the young kids know how to do it.
yeah, definitely. Like, for a while, obviously before the RC craze came out with the lowriders, it was always lowrider bikes trying to, get the youth involved with building and painting and everything. And right now, the lowrider cars, the RCs, are really seem to be taking over across the lowrider culture, with the getting the kids involved and also getting the grown-ups involved. There's a lot of people, they could be kids again playing with the RC cars, and I see a lot of adults buying them. How did you really, start getting involved in this?
At the beginning, well, I've always painted cars ever since uh, I started my career in auto body and all of that. But
Hmm.
lately, here in North County, San Diego, um, we started going out to the shows, and then I popped out my bike. I have a 26 inch Schwinn.
Hmm.
I did some patterns on it, and I started taking it to the bike ride here in Oceanside, and that's where I started meeting more friends around here. And one of the guys from members, Renato, he's all like, "Hey, I saw your bike. It's pretty good. You think you could get down on one of my RCs?" And I'm all like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that's how our journey started here in North County with Genaro.
Oh, nice.
And he was the one that gave us the first pair of RCs, which was a Buick Regal from Jeffries, which you don't see very often, and I think it was a '96 Cadillac.
Nice.
And I started one, and then my wife did the other one, and we had the kids, help us out because since they were little model cars, we're all like, hey, you know what? Well, it's kind of cool for you guys to get involved with it because since it's a little car, it's good for you guys to start getting in there.
Yeah. So when the Red Cats came out, was that something like a no-brainer to start doing that or painting those cars?
Well, after I did those, I reached out to my homeboy Galindo out here because it was cool to work with those shells, and that's when we decided to buy one for the family.
Mm-hmm.
And they're expensive little carritos.
Yes.
And and we ended up buying a '64 from Galindo's bike shop,
Mm-hmm.
and it's still here. This is the one we got back here, and we called it La Cucaracha.
Nice.
Because it has those brown colors.
Yeah.
So it's all patterned out and everything, and the kids, maybe for the kids to get a taste of what the lowrider scene is more about and all the patterns and everything. So
Yeah.
we purchased that Red Cat '64 Impala from our homeway right there, and it's been pretty good.
Have you guys done any other cars? Painted any other Red Cats?
Yeah, we got this '64. Then we did for the same guy Galindo. We did Monte Carlo. We did that one in white and gold.
Nice.
And then after that, I had my boy Tuti. He does a lot of publicity around here in North County, and we did another '64 for him. And then after that, we had another Red Cat Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
From this other guy from a toy store here. They have a bunch of little cars and stuff, and he wanted a bigger one, so we did a red Monte Carlo for him, and that was also a Red Cat.
Nice.
But then after that, I sent you a link from that concert that we went over with Chiquis, and our little Red Cat '64 Impala had a little accident out there.
Oh wow!
And they were really good about it, and they bought a whole new set for Joseph to replace whatever was damaged. And from then I opted to pay a little bit more, and we upgraded for a '59.
Nice.
So once we got the '59, my homies all like, "Hey, you're gonna have the Continental kit for it?" And I'm all like, "Man, how much is that?" He's all like, "Just another $80." I'm like, "All right, put it on there." And then he's all like, "Hey, are you gonna get the Dayton's for it?" And I'm all like, "Yeah, let's do it. Might as well now that it's there. Might as well get it all, set up with the 13s and the Continental kit." And that one's still there. We're just waiting for the right moment to get some patterns on it. So you'll see that video coming up pretty soon of that 59 getting patterned out.
Nice. How long have you had your kids painting?
They've been like for about, I'd say 3-4 years back we started. Because I also do a little bit of industrial paint, and for them to get the feeling of the gun and for them to loosen up I had to get them started on some black chassis paint. So
Nice.
so they loosen up their feeling, because when you get something you don't, they know you can mess up, and
Yeah.
I had them practice on that, so that they by the time right now where they were just going in there and getting the gun. You saw Joseph on the video.
Yeah.
He looks so confident of what he's doing that I had a few guys even mention, man, he looks even better than these new guys that I just hired at my shop. But
Well, the
yeah,
no, the so you have so right now you have a shop. Is this you paint cars? I mean, this is what you normally do, right?
yes,
Hmm.
yeah. We just opened up a shop here in Vista,
Hmm.
California, and we're pretty much starting. We're a family business, and we're trying to. Well, basically, it's more of this is for them.
Yeah.
It's it's for them uh, to have a really good, I'd say, future for them, and that way, you know what, if you want to keep on studying, go ahead, keep on studying,
Hmm.
do your thing. But I also want you to know that me as a father, this is what I can give you.
Yeah.
Talent, a way of making money for you in the future, in case whatever happens. I want my family to be ready, so they can provide some food for their table too in the future. And knowing this trade, they could paint RCs, they could paint bikes, they could paint cars, they could paint cabinets, they could paint fences.
Yep.
It's an ongoing, uh, boats, helicopters. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a really nice trade where you could basically paint anything. And
Absolutely.
knowing the process of what it is,
Hmm.
it's just nonstop for them.
And so when I have done already, I've talked to a couple other people in the RC world, and one of the big things that I've been kind of pushing when in the goal of this podcast series is to talk about how these RC cars, these RC lowrider cars, have inspired and brought a lot more youth involved into the lowrider culture. It's been easier to get the youth involved in this culture, these car shows, these events, and the fact that when I seen, like I said, when I seen the kids getting hands on and they're spraying in the spray booth and everything, like really was the point was that it's bringing the next generation of the automotive painters, the custom painters. A lot of times you hear a lot of painters don't want to share what their knowledge and so on and so forth. It's hard to get someone to become an apprentice and all these things, but it's really comes down to, I guess, maybe family owned businesses and so on and so forth. But just being able to see the kids starting to do this on their own, and then this could possibly lead into the next great automotive painter, that that can come from this.
Yeah, um, it's kind of funny how, like, the whole society right now. I mean, everyone's into their phones, right? The
Yeah.
phone is the number one uh, device that everyone has on their hands right now, and
Yeah.
it's very practical, and especially the kids. If you don't monitor what they see, if you don't check on what they're doing on their phones, that you could lose them. And I tell
Yeah.
them, you know what, you guys are kids. You have a time to play, but when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to learn, it's time to learn. And I just try to monitor them on that side, and at the same time tell them, you know what, if you're gonna see something, see videos that will help you either paint ideas, for what we're involved, so that at the same time you're being entertained by the phone, but your brain is still learning and learning and learning, so that the generation that's coming, has that more knowledge, because we're losing a lot of kids right now
Oh
to
yeah, I
that.
mean, and I think that's what I was, it's like this is a blue collar job, and as they say nowadays, no one wants to work a blue collar job, or it's hard to get the interest of younger people to want to work a blue collar job because you know, everybody wants to be what do you call it, like online and work from home and everything like that. And there's nowadays there's nothing wrong with that because that's the way we're going with technology. But we still need people to work on cars, build houses, and everything else like that. I just recently I saw a car. No, actually, it was fast food, and you know how they have all the kiosks now, and there's a big tablet, and go, "Oh, can you order from the kiosk?" And I laughed, and it's basically a big tablet, and I'm like, "Look, they all the years they talked about your kids shouldn't be on the tablets." I said, "Now look at they're gonna be everywhere."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I actually sometimes I have these guys help me out with stuff like that, because it's a little confusing, and my oldest Jaciel, he's a really good computer guy, so I have him do most of my computer stuff sometimes when I can't deal with it, because it technology is moving forward,
yes,
and it's you gotta keep up, and just like right now, we're doing this podcast through the phone,
yeah,
and it's a must. But like we were talking earlier, we gotta keep our kids and keep an eye on them, so that they don't lose that wanting to work out, in the sun, without just
oh yeah.
wanting to be inside the house with their hands clean. You gotta get them out there to get dirty sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I have a 12-year-old son, and sometimes he comes with me and helps me and stuff. And I've been trying to motivate him to grab a camera. When he was little, he used to run around with the camera because he thought it was the thing to do. But then it got hot and he got tired and he wants to play video games. And it's like I told him, I said, nobody ever tried to show me something different. And when I was young, I worked on cars with my uncles and stuff, but no one ever really kind of, you know, motivated me to learn this or learn that. And so what I tell them is like if you learn how to do some of this editing and photography, you can design video games, you can do whatever else, directing movies, stuff like that. And from my side, because of the technology and what I do, it's a lot, but you have to try the kids have to understand that we're trying to pass down some knowledge that can work in their favor.
Exactly. There's a I want to share this. There's a movie. I think it's the movie 300, where the warriors, right? There's a
Yeah.
there's a small scene where the kid has a sword, and he's a small little kid, and he has a sword, and he's practicing with his dad, and the little kid, mentions to his dad, "Dad, why do I have to do this?" And he's
Yeah.
using the sword, and the father tells him, there's gonna come to a point where you're gonna be me in the future, and you have to defend our kingdom.
Yeah.
And that's really basically what I'm trying to do with my family here, to get them ready for the future, for them to know for trade in
Yeah,
the industry.
definitely.
And these RCs have been a really blessing, I think, to the lowrider community, especially for my family,
Mm,
because I get a chance to show them in a miniature way what the big cars are.
yeah. Oh, definitely. And I've talked about this too with a couple other people I've done on the podcast with so far, and it's the memories with the kids. they're not going to always remember how much the car costs, but they're going to remember the time you put in and what you showed them. They're going to the fact that you put in that effort. It's always about the memories. It's never about just the money.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the one thing that, and for the kids, you're hearing me, is like, you got to remember, you may not end up being a painter, but you might be the business owner, the business manager, the accountant, the marketing agent. All this that you're doing now, you'll never know, but you realize that you have it there. Because even when I was a kid, me being a photographer, um, and I didn't start till 2010, 2011. And but the funny part is that somebody always handed me a camera when I was younger. Here, take a picture. Here, take the picture. Can you take the picture? Family, at a family event. Here, can you take the picture? I was handed a camera nonstop my
Yeah,
whole like youth, and no one ever said you should be a photographer. Not once.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
It was kind of like your call. Hey, the camera, the camera, the camera, and
Yeah.
it was really a break your own riddle. Hey, it's for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I worked on cars when I was younger and everything else. I always say, like, as a kid, I changed my first tire at 6 years old, and stuff like that. And we don't nowadays. It's not so easy, or not everybody thinks like that. But um, where my whole thing is with the RC cars is really, the fact is we're bringing in a whole new generation, and at some point it seems like it's almost taking over the lowrider bikes, with the youth. I don't know if I see it where some people are spending all their money on these RC cars with the paint jobs and everything else. And then from there, they're going to eventually transition into, getting a car, because, and it's not to say that some people aren't going to have lowrider bikes, but I just see, like, it's kind of more easier to deal with an RC car at some point.
yeah, yeah. Well, this last lowrider show here in Long Beach. Um, we were there, and our boy Galindo got the track down there,
Yes.
and man, the show was really good. Everything
Mhm.
was there, but I've noticed that out of all the stands that were there, the vendors, the lowrider cars, out of the whole building, I
Yeah.
mean, all the all the funk was there at the RC uh, track,
Absolutely. That's the big crowd, and there's a lot of people that are still at awe, and they don't realize how much money goes into these cars, and they think, oh, where do I get one of those? And I did this with when I had my son, and I had the pedal car for him. I bought the pedal car, and then I had it painted by a painter, and then people would say, well, where'd you buy that at? And I said, what do you mean? Because I'm kind of sarcastic like that, but they'd be like, where'd you buy it at? I said, well, I bought the car and then I paid someone to paint it. They were asking me where I bought it, and they thought that I bought it painted like that. I said, no, I paid someone to paint it. And then they're like, oh, and then so the pedal car cost me $150, which is cheaper than a red cat, but it was like on Amazon for 150, and then I paid someone for $1,000 paint job. And people were like, you paid, you have $1,000 paint job on a kid's car? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Well,
and
going into that $1,000 paint job, it's funny because same exact hours you're gonna put on a big car,
mm,
you're gonna put them into an RC car,
yep.
and there is $1,000 paint jobs on RCs. There is, you know, it's big money to get them painted. So, but it's also fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's also fun once you see people look at your car and say, "Oh, that's nice." I mean, it all gets paid off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's more than, yes, it costs money in the beginning, but for the time, and to inspire and see the kids really, like, be involved with this, it's much more of an investment. And of course, it teaches someone to take care of their stuff. It teaches to value their stuff, to value the work that they put into it. All these things. It's not just playing with the car. I mean, because you can get a regular RC from Walmart and then just destroy it and drive it like crazy and jump it and break it, and oh well, because it was $30. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But you can't do that with these RC lowriders, because obviously they're not $30. But the thing is much more to that. It's just, once again, it's bringing people together. It's bringing the youth together. It's bringing families together, like you're saying. And from, like I said, what I seen, I'm just like, all I see is that, like, the next generation of the car builders, the car painters, the custom, modification people, hydraulic installers, all that stuff is going to be inspired by these toy cars.
Yep. Exactly. So yeah, Jamie and Asiel and Joseph, they've been really good at learning. And I mean, if someone wants to come pick them up and get an RC car, for sure they know what to do.
Nice. So so now are you taking in custom, RC cars? You're painting the stuff, or is it just like word of mouth? It's just
Yeah, right now it's just word of mouth. But like, if anybody has an RC that would like to get done by us, uh, feel free to um, contact us and
Mm,
mail it in. You guys take care of all the mailing, and my prices start from 650 and up.
mm,
But 650 would cover patterns on top and on the sides, flaked
mm.
out, and with some candy. So, um, like we all say, there's many painters out there that probably could do it for a less price, but I'm keeping it at that because um, it does take a lot of time.
Yes.
It does take a lot of time. So that covers like a standard pattern out RC.
Nice.
And my customers that I've had, they've been really happy with their paint job. They
Mm.
get everything on top of that paint job. They
Yeah.
still add chrome underneath the differential, uh, chrome arms. I mean everything. And once everything is put together, man, you've
Yeah.
got top dollar on that little baby.
So how do you like the car show scene? We were talking about the Galindo's the setup he did at Long Beach, and I was there. Um, but are you are you competing in any cars? You guys are going to a lot of events that are like focusing on or have an area for the RC cars, or?
We've been around like the area around here. We've been since we're local here in North County, and it's very I have an hour drive from here to LA, and
Mm,
then and probably a 40-minute drive to like down San Diego, because since we're in North County, the North County area, we're
yeah,
like right in the middle of both uh, lowrider cities,
yeah,
and there's an event in Whittier. We have an opportunity to go because it's only an hour away, and we've been around the shows,
mm,
and I try to show the kids that we go to have for us to have fun.
yeah,
If we get a reward from anybody at the show or from any event,
mm,
uh, I try to show them that we just gotta be thankful for whatever we get,
yeah,
because our whole idea and my whole idea with the kids is to show them to have a good time with the lowrider community, because we're all family.
yes,
We're all a family, and it's really nice to have a good time. If they give us something, it's cool. If we went to have time, it's cool. If they give it to another buddy, I also get happy because my friends get their chance to get something, because everyone puts a lot of effort into their little cars, and
Yeah,
everyone deserves, their rewards.
absolutely. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing, and that's the fun with it. With the RC cars, have you found it easier to get the kids to go with you?
What was that again?
With the having the RC car, is it easier to get the kids to go with you to convince them?
Oh yeah, no, they're definitely pumped to go, and I've noticed when my kids talk to my friends' kids, they're also, oh yeah, I want to go because Jamie's gonna be there. I want to go because Joseph's gonna be there. I want to go there because Haciel's gonna be there. So now it really inspires other kids to be there, because they're really good communicating
Yeah,
with the rest of the kids, and they have fun out there, and motivates other kids to want to go.
yeah,
and um, and not just in the RCs and in the lowrider bikes too. You seen my little girl in that video, how we painted her bike,
yep,
and she was on that bike as soon as we got it together, and it was inspiring to other girls around our community to want to do a little lowrider bike too. And
yeah.
the same thing with the RCs. It's it's really good for them to make friends, and make inspire them to be out there.
Yeah, like once again, the next generation building this whole community of lowriders and people that enjoy this, what we do. Sometimes it's hard to explain to people that this is really a family oriented, event and a lifestyle, and more so than they realize, the old stereotypes, people just think it's just a bunch of, people wanting to drink or gang members and all this other stuff, but it is evolved, it is changed. We are focused on bringing the youth involved and showing that all that stuff doesn't have to be a part of the lowrider community, and it doesn't have to be a part of what people assume is the lowrider community.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you see a little bit of everything at every event.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like in your family. There's always one brother that does this, another brother that does that,
Hmm.
another brother that's cool, another brother that's a little grumpy, and it's just a matter of being cool, and and knowing each other. You
Yeah.
know, knowing each other. If someone's a certain way, just respect him the way he is,
Mhm.
and let him deal with his life, and you just gotta keep on going
Yep.
to where you're going. And that's what I
Yes.
try to teach them around the community, because once you're out there at a lowrider car show, you're gonna see everything. You're gonna see everything.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
and just keep focusing on us being a really good example as a family, for
Yes.
mainly for the lowrider scene, because it's very like you say, very stereotyping to the bad side of it.
Oh yeah. So, so you do well. Obviously, you work on full size cars?
Yeah. Yes.
So what are the tasks do you have for when the kids are helping?
um for example, like whenever I'm detrimming a car or a vehicle, they're very. I have them learn, hey, un desarmador, a screwdriver.
Mm,
Um, Bring me the number 10 socket with the impact, and they're very, you know, knowledgeable on that side. Or
mm.
bring me the vice grips in Spanish. We say, hey, tráeme las pinzas perras. So they already know
Yeah,
the names for the tools. So when I'm doing the job of detrimming the car, they're already know how to go and bring me the tools. Then after that, the sanding process, um, all the way from 80 grit to polishing all the way to 3000 grit. They
Mhm.
already know the grits. So depending on what we're doing, um, they jump in or I tell them, hey, help me sand this and that. All the corners, the hard part,
Yeah.
that's where they jump in because they got the tiny little hands. So they're pretty good at scuffing in those hard areas.
Yep.
And as far as that, I mean, Joseph already he's into. He likes to do that bondo mix
Yeah.
and start getting in there and shooting bondo. There's a couple of videos there on my Instagram where you can see him get in there and start spreading the bondo. And then after that, he goes in there and does all the sanding process. And obviously, at the end, I go in there and I go verify that everything's good. And
Nice and level.
yeah, I mean it's part of the process, and um, they're really good at doing all of that. So then after that, I have them practice with their primer.
Mhm.
Because after that, there's an opportunity for them to jump in and get the gun and loosen up. And I tell them, shake your body, let loosen it up so that you can feel what. I don't want you all hard, when you're doing it. I
Yeah.
want you to feel free. You gotta feel free, have the confidence of getting in there with your gun.
Yeah. Relax, not be nervous. You're
Exactly.
yeah. Do it.
Exactly.
Become natural of doing. I did some body work. I've even primered a whole car with a spray gun and stuff. I've done it a couple of times, but when I was younger, when I really that's what I thought I was gonna be doing. But and when I had my lowrider and so on and so forth, and it's not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So I have them, shake it off, shake it off. If you feel a little hard, shake it off, get confident, and then go in there and get down with the primer, and that's how I got them started. Because really, like we were saying earlier, there's good, we're gonna come to a point where there's not gonna be a lot of kids that want to do this. They don't want to be out in the sun. They don't want to get their hands dirty.
Absolutely.
And,
And
and
that's where then that also gives them a level up of when it comes down to getting older and doing it professionally and painting cars, and because they're going to be doing something that nobody else does, and there's going to be people willing to pay for it.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So that's pretty much where these guys are. I had Joseph, Haciel, and Jamie. Every now and then jump in there and grab the tapes, start shooting some lines on the little RC so that they could get the feeling. One of the videos that you could see where Joseph, he started out the patterns on that blue RC,
mm,
and he's all like, "This is what I want you to do, Dad." I'm like, "All right, let's roll with that.
yeah.
Let's roll with that."
So yeah, they're already got it in their head. This is how I want it to happen.
Yeah, because it's cool. It's cool for them. When I go to Joseph's, he just graduated from elementary,
Mm,
and when I used to go to his classroom, his teacher was all like, "Oh yeah, I saw Joseph. He showed me the video where you guys were doing this car," and even the teacher was pumped
nice.
on seeing him, get in there and getting hands on the RCs. And we even got the opportunity to go to the museum here in San Diego because they took them onto a trip to the museum. And in the museum, there was like a special uh, car museum where they had
Mm,
a few uh, cars inside, and one of them was from the Black Lowrider Association.
Uh-huh.
And for Majestics, they had a really nice, I think it was a 67 in there. And the teacher, since she knew that Joseph was in the lowrider scene, she's all
Mm.
like, "Come on, I want you guys to get in here and see the lowriders that are here and all the rest of the cars." So him being in elementary was very motivated for the other kids,
Yeah.
to see that he was hands on um, more technical stuff.
Hmm. Well, yeah,
So
that's just one of the things, not everybody has that stuff going on for them, but it does make other kids go, oh wait, I want to learn how to do that, or maybe I want to do that too. So yeah,
yeah,
all that stuff transfers in a positive way.
yes. So yeah, that's pretty much our experience with the lowriders. At the same time, I always had my wife did the one of the second ones that we did. The
Mm,
purple lowrider. I also have her, get her hands on too, because you never know what could happen to me or whatever, and they could keep on,
hmm.
moving forward with whatever needs to do,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that way they're ready, for the future. I mean,
Definitely. It's like I said, it's just what I see what the cars are doing, how they're bringing in the next generation, and it's motivating, you know, parents to, get one for their kids, or just get involved, or even, do one for themselves. The reality behind it is it's bringing the culture, together, and it's from the young kids until the adults, and no one, it just I just want to make sure people understand that this is something we should be proud of as a culture, lowrider culture, Chicano culture. Anybody that's involved with the lowrider, the little RCs, bringing in the kids, all the different people that are creating the displays, the car shows that are inviting all the kids to come out and do these little mini car shows within the car show. All that stuff is definitely a positive aspect in the lowrider community. And for you putting up your videos and stuff with the kids painting the cars, it's really amazing to see it. And I'm just glad that you're putting that content out, because ultimately I just see, so many other kids getting involved and learning how to paint and becoming, an entrepreneur and working in the lowrider community.
yeah. Well, Jamie really enjoyed this other day that we did her bike. She was so happy, getting in there. And I say her bike because it really falls into paint falls into the RCs and to the bike.
Mhm.
But you know, candies are hard to paint,
Yeah.
candy colors, but I mean, her as a little girl, starting at a young age, getting the feel of what it is.
Mm.
I mean, by the time she's 15, 16, she's gonna be in the
That's
ball game, already,
Yeah, I
knowing
saw the
how to.
video with her getting the material for her seat for her lowrider bike and everything else, and yeah, that's
Yeah,
a nice process.
yeah. My father, when I was younger, well, all of my my grandfather, they always been in the bike scene.
Mhm.
Uh, Not exactly the lowriders, but the bikes. And um, my dad showed me how to reupholster those Schwinn seats that they have the two-part.
Mhm.
So it was easy. And since we have UFO upholstery around the block right here, I'm all like, we're going to go get some fabric and we're going to get that seat nice and ready for you, because it is a 1980, 1960 Schwinn seat, and it's
Yeah.
obviously it's going to be old. And since we did the nice paint job and everything, we're all like, let's go get an upholstery so we can have the whole bike looking fresh.
Yeah.
And she was even mentioning that day. I was so happy to hear her when she was saying, "Dad, this is one of the best days of my life." And she was riding her bike on the beach. Everything was beautiful. I mean,
Yeah. And the
it just pays off, you know, just with those
absolutely.
words.
Yeah, because I mean, her effort is put into that bike. There's more value. There's this looking at your smile on your face, what she's accomplished and what she's done with it, and see you being proud of her being proud of herself, and then the value of that bike because it wasn't just given to her.
Exactly.
Well,
So, you have anything to say, Mama? What's the best part of everything? Tell.
I think the best thing of my bike of everything is probably the frame because when I was painting it, I was doing the candy. We were painting it, and I was about to spray the other side, and then I saw like the paint acting up, and and my dad said that don't worry, that's crocodile skin, and
oh
it
wow.
was like that.
So we had a little chemical reaction in there,
Uh
and the paint started to shrink a little bit. And I'm all like, "Don't worry, Mama, that's crocodile skin. It's something special."
don't panic.
And and we kept on going, We
Yeah,
kept on
yeah,
going, and I mean, we finished it off. We're gonna use it. It's a bike that we're gonna be using to take out to the beach. So I wasn't really worried of making it, you know,
show.
fully. Yeah, I mean, and when the paint started to shrink, I'm like, "Don't worry, Mama, that's crocodile skin. We're gonna get a nice crocodile skin for the seat."
Nice.
So and she enjoyed it. That's why she was mentioning that part.
But that's
So
awesome that she even recognized that something was going on. That
yeah,
she had that knowledge.
I mean, it's like uh, that's the part where hey, something happens on a page job or whatever. That's the part where you have to say, "Oh, I'm gonna throw another design on top of that to cover
Mm.
it." You got to go back in there and fix it up. And I think every painter passes through situations where you're all like almost pretty much finished, and boom, you drop a tool, you drop something, or you're polishing it up, and something goes wrong, and boom, and
Yeah.
and and what's really positive about everything is either you start it fresh again, or
Yeah.
you improvise and you throw a design in there, and nothing happened.
Yep.
You know, it's
Just
it's it's
just
a
can't
matter of
panic.
yeah, just get a pattern in there. So I wasn't too much worried about that area. That's why I'm all like, "Don't worry, Mama, it's crocodile skin. Let's move forward." Boom, we finished it. Because if we were to get back, we weren't gonna make it to the bike show on Saturday.
Oh wow.
So we just moved forward. We moved forward without stopping.
Definitely. See, that's how you do it though. But then you wonder why some people go so custom. But it is like, you know
Yeah,
what? I'm not gonna, you know what? It just motivates you to keep doing more and more and more, and not all mistakes or not all bad, things are bad. They're they turn into something, better.
exactly, exactly. And I've been seeing, there's certain techniques that to get in designs, you use a bag, you use water. There's
Mm.
some painters that get that water effect in there, and then it just keeps on going nonstop, nonstop. The When you do the lacing in there,
Mm.
you could always use lacing and cover up a bunch of stuff with the lacing, you know,
Nice.
and there's just so much to do when it comes to custom painting.
Yep. Yep. Definitely. So I want to thank you for your guys' time. I really do appreciate you coming on the podcast. I love the view and the family oriented, the efforts are amazing, and I wish you guys the best in business and family and luck. Really do appreciate what you're doing and the content you're putting out, because I really, I even for me, I want to show my kid, look at this, because there's other kids out there that are building these these models and these RC cars, and they just, we just need the inspiration for more.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, thank you for having us on your podcast too. And whenever anybody needs anything, just reach out to us, and we're here in Vista, California, North County, San Diego.
Definitely, and I will, on the bottom of this video, your Instagram is linked here. I know you're on Facebook as well. I will put in the links on YouTube in the information if you want to inquire on getting a custom paint job for your RC car
Sounds
and
good.
more. And what is your shop also?
Our shop is gonna be called Elegance Auto Body
Mhm.
here in Vista, and we're, like I told you, a family business, and we're like any other small business. We're trying to make it happen.
Mhm.
Uh, Give out our best for our customers, and any support, anything out there, whoever wants to get a bike, an RC, a car painted, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see
Yep,
what we can do for you guys.
definitely. So everybody, make sure you check them out and message them with any questions you have or any of that. So once again, thank you again for your time. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for having your whole family and all of your guys' time. And um, once again, just I thank you for your support, and I appreciate it.
All right, you got it. Thank you.
Pinches Lowriders.